Good morning, evening and afternoon everybody, welcome. Here we have another Shoutcast between Jab and Philip. So thank you very much Jab for sending this in, really appreciate it. So we have Allayed the Immortal Tinkerer, we have the Brown Bear, and we have the Genesis Scavenger in command. Genesis Scavenger is a interesting commander, it's very good actually. A lot of people underestimate it, but it should be interesting. On the opposing side, we've got two Genesis, we've got another Relator, we've got the Overseer guy, and we have the Balanced Warrior. So we're probably going to see some defense golems buffed into that character, so give it obviously insane stats. So this could be a very interesting match. So here we go, guys. So first of all, he's just buffs up the health of the Scavenger, which is obviously going to play out probably on turn 3. He's got some Swarmers out there to boost some Swarmers, so he's probably got a few more Swarmers in the deck. Played the Infested Hulker, just holding everything back for now. And we'll see how we go with that. The opponent plays another Balanced Warrior, plays a kinetically able drone, and plays out a Invincible Defender just to start defending. But he plays out the Flyer. Just hits for 3, just starts off slow. Okay, we have a Kung Ji, apologies. A Kung Ji in the 8/12, which will heal every 2 turns, which could be very potent with this deck. So, he plays out another Allayed the Immortal Traveler, so spawners swarming incoming, I think. Okay, War Machine. Here we go, so we got a War Machine out, and a Monkey. I've not that many people play monkeys anymore, but it's always nice to see them. So in his hand, he's got Sniper, which could come in handy later on if his opponent buffs up something really big that needs to be taken out. So we can hope that's going to be useful later on. If he uses it now, that would be very bad. You should never play Assassinate on turn 6, never. So, he's just playing out the big guys. I'd actually hold that Swarmer back and start building some Swarmers up, potentially. But no, he's going all out with everything, even with the Elator. Because I think people are very scared to actually play the Elators out. And he pulls back everything for the War Machine. But he gets he should get a very nice chunk of damage out. There we go. So he gets brings him down to 59, but he also has brought out a 17/17 creature from the thing, and he's got the Overseers out, so that's obviously giving it more stats, so it would be 16/16 otherwise. He's got another one in command, which he'll probably play out next turn, because he can do some serious damage now with that War Machine, because War Machine is a crazy good so far. It is crazy good. If you can get it rolling, it's very difficult to stop. So he needs some kind of artifact removal. If he has a Walrus in his deck, that would be fantastic. But he's really thinking about what he's doing now. And I would be as well. It's quite difficult, I think, what he's doing thus far. Because he's got a... I'd pull back and see what he does. And just maybe defend with a few. He's using the Assassinate. I think he's using the Assassinate too early. But that might be just me. If he does defend with it, then this could be a good play. It does defend with it. And he's not using more of the War Machine, so overall I wouldn't have played that, but it's a good play. But the Monkey attacks because it was his priority, so he attacks first. That's almost a wasted turn. Okay, so he plays out the Artificial Swarm, which makes the Brutal Swarmer artificial, which then can be buffed into other things and played around with it and stuff, so that could be some interesting play coming out later. Obviously they're all going to be healed to 2 turns, but nothing got damaged that turn. So we'll see how we go. I think he's waiting for a constructor of some kind. But that monkey he's probably going to pull a bunch back to buff up the War Machine this turn, because it's only on 56%, so he could easily get it, especially with those 3 Jinhai Militia he just spawned. So yeah, just plays out the Artificial Swarmer, plays out the Flyer, to probably just apply a little bit of pressure with the Flyer. So he pulls stuff back, doesn't bother attacking, so he's only attacking on his off ability. So for that monkey's actually being incredibly useful, which is pretty awesome. So he actually takes out quite a few of his stuff. Obviously that's going to get healed back up to a 2/3. He also has Fight as well. So how is he going to handle this? He's going to use the Cold Shot. He's calling it. He's calling it in the defense zone, which I probably would have done the same. Whether that hits or not, we'll have to wait and see. and he's got to defend with something, because if that monkey attacks and he's not defending, then it's going to just flick all his stuff and it's going to be a wasted turn. But is he going to start making survival swarmers? Which he can't this turn because he's not good enough. He needs to defend with something. I would defend with... Oh, he's just killing the monkey. That's a lot better play. He's just killing the monkey with fight, so then he can attack with everything. He's pulling back the scavenger, so it'll heal him this turn, because he's been keeping it out because he wants it to gain some stats. So he is only attacking for a little bit. Okay, so he just used a latest discovery to find Loic, which could do some serious damage. Loic, if left alone, the way a lot of people, or some people play Loic, is they use it as a bluff mechanic. They literally just sit it there and don't use it for like 10 plus turns, because then your opponent is just like freaked out because they don't know when they're going to use it. A lot of people just use it every 2 turns on the clock, on the dot. But doing it that way, it can be a lot different. So there we go. So we've got the drop bear coming out, which is always a good move. Always, everybody loves a drop bear. Everybody loves a drop bear. Alright. So he plays out the scavenger. The scavenger's done a lot of work this game, actually. And as I said, like, the scavenger is very underestimated sometimes, so it's pretty darn good. Okay, so he's literally going all out for everything. He's putting that at the back because he doesn't want it to die. He's buffing its health up. Personally, I'd buff maybe the artificial scavenger, or the other scavenger, so it doesn't die this turn. And he is still attacking with the elator, which is interesting. So probably what Philip might do is pull back and use War Machine, but that would be a bad move, I think. He only needs to use it a couple more times, so I wouldn't use it this turn, just because you need the defense. So he plays the Loic. Okay, so Jab has to be very careful next turn, because the Loic could do some serious damage. After... Look at all the low healths here. You could do some very bad damage. So the elator dies. That dies. Okay, so he's left with 1 overseer left. Okay, he needs to pull back and wait for Loic, unfortunately. Like, he should only leave stuff out that can actually take the hit. So the brown bear in command should play that. Well, he's actually got a War Machine of his own. So yeah, he's doing that. You could leave the drop bear out, because the drop bear can take the hit and still kill something, potentially. But he's playing his own War Machine, so this is going to be interesting. Battle of the War Machines. Incoming. So he plays out one of the Behemoth as well. He's just playing out a bunch of creatures that are nice and big. I would not keep the flyers out. But he decides to draw a card instead. That's not the best draw. I still would have played the big creatures ready for the next turn. But I'd pull those flyers back as well, because they're probably going to get killed by the Loic if he plays it. But if he plays it well, then he could bluff with it and not play it at all. So that could be another play. So he's just buffing up. He's keeping that alive. It's obviously going to heal him for 7, so that's just going to bring back up to 100 health because of the scavenger. The scavenger can have some worth if people leave it alone, or they haven't got any control for it. That's good. So he's literally pulled everything back. So he's hoping that Philip's going to play the Loic, and he does. That is perfect. Perfect. So he plays the Loic, and now he can attack freely. But there is a massive 2020 construct out there, so that is going to sting. He hasn't got any control for it, but he has the War Machine. So it's going to be Battle of the War Machines at the moment. So he's just attacking with the flyers, which is logical. It's only a small amount of flyers at the moment, so we'll see how we go. We'll see how we go with this. It's going to be very, very interesting to see that what happens over the next course of this game, because it's going to be Battle of the War Machines, I think. Both have enough characters to keep spawning a countless number of War Machines, and it's going to be fun. So what's going to happen this turn? I think Philip's best intention would be to attack, but no, he defends, which is probably not the best idea, because he does need to get some damage on him. He really, really does. Jab is winning on health and morale. That doesn't necessarily he's going to win the game. That just means he's ahead, which he is. So, personally, I would just go all out this next turn, if I was Jab, because you do have more creatures on the board, you have more damage on the board, and you haven't got Loic for another turn. So I just play it all out and just keep attacking and just wearing him down, and then maybe potentially pull back next turn because Loic's going to be off cooldown, so you can stop the massacre that would happen. But no, he decides to keep everything back and make another war machine, which is fair enough. But I'd still play him more out than that. I'd honestly go more out than, because he does have board advantage over him with that Behemoth, the Drop Bear that's still alive, and the 2 Swarmers that are still doing a bunch of damage. Plus the new 16/16 he just spawned as well. Even if like he had to expel 2 of them to kill that 20/20, it still would be worth it in my eyes. But he's at least going to attack. Oh, he is going to attack. He's changed his mind. He is going to attack with the big one, which is good. But he is attacking obviously with the Baby Scra, which will he's enraged, which will obviously start pushing through as well, which will give him some nice. It depends how his opponent defends. It depends how he defends. So he's just playing that just to make sure he gets the thing this turn. Switches out that, gets some more ramp. That's fine. Okay, he plays it first. That's unfortunate, but at least that 20/20 is gone. That's unfortunate that happened, and that's what I thought he might have done. It's the logical thing to do, to move things around. You should always move things around, like because oh my god, that actually worked out in Jab's favour a little bit. This is one reason I'm not a huge fan of Kunji, because you don't have control over your defense. So you have obviously a little bit of control over it, and obviously the healing and the defensing is good in certain situations, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it messes with your defensive strategy, because that would have killed 2 and be much more valuable instead of it live, but now it gets to deal another 12 damage, so it's interesting. It's interesting. His other big creature is still alive though, so there is that. So there's pros and cons to it all. But no, he's still holding back these 2 16/16s. I'm not sure. The thing is, he can hold back for a few turns. The reason being is because he can hold back for a few turns. He just wants more war machines. he's getting greedy with the war machines. So yeah, he's just holding back because he's got 82 health compared to 35 of his opponent. So he's got time and resources. Also, the Loic is potentially going to go off this next turn. So we shall see about that. So he has actually more creatures than his opponent, and his opponent seems to have stopped using his war machine. So we're going to see how we go. So now he's got a huge amount of stuff, and he has a constructor in there somewhere as well, hidden in there. So this could be the turn to turn the game, or to finish the game, should I say. To throw everything out potentially into attack and just burn him down. But he plays the Flyers, which could also be another tactic. So he plays the Flyers attack out next turn, and he buffs into them with the Constructor using the massive 16/16s, and he could win it in one turn quite easily. The other alternative is just literally attack with everything he's got now, like straight away. Just go crazy with it. Just go absolutely crazy with it. But no, he's deciding to buff up more. See, he could almost win this turn. His opponent doesn't have any flying defense. He could throw out the 2 flyers, buff in the massive war machines, and go out. But he has a 6th sense, and he defends. The Loic does go off. Hits him for 6, which is okay. He can deal with, though. But it was his priority, so putting out those small flyers and buffing into them wasn't an option. So we'll see how he goes here. So, Splitter Robot, he's attacking with the Varius, which is interesting. Not many people play Varius at the moment. This is going to take away a lot, actually. It's going to do a lot of damage to him. It's also going to kill his, so there we go. That puts Jab firmly in board control state, completely and utterly, with 74 health, and his opponent only 35 health and 17 morale left. And he's got an incredible amount of creatures. He's just going all out with these massive creatures. He's conceded the game. There we go. There's no way he could have pulled that back unless he has some kind of mass death or anything. So thank you for sending in that match, man. I really appreciate it. And I will see you next time, guys. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later. Cheers, guys.